Bonjour les amis, Bogdan is here, and today is big day. We are starting a new rubric called Vrai or faux, which means true or false. So we are talking about some notorious things that we found on the web, taken from casino websites, bookmaker websites, and trying to debunk the myths that already instilled in you in the public. So our first thing is about betting in crypto, in Bitcoin, in the US. So there's a popular thing that has been supported by online casinos that Bitcoin gambling is legal in the US. We have three arguments that we have found on many crypto casino websites that substantiate this is legal. And the idea of this statement is that the truth has been intertwined with the manipulation and with false. So it's not easy to tell right away because the statement has been crafted such ways that it might be technically true but not true in principle. So let's take them one by one. And the first statement is that literally no federal law prohibits US citizens from gambling online. The second one is that US may only restrict from accepting bets within their respective states, but if a online casino is based elsewhere, for example, some remote island, it is then legal. And finally, the third question is that US government restricts credit cards and other financial companies from taking money, from taking casino-related transactions, but if you use crypto like Bitcoin, then you acting legally. So let's take them one by one. And the first is that no federal law prohibits US citizens from gambling online. Is it vrai or faux? Is it true or false? So manipulative as it is false in nature. So though technically true, because it's not up to a federal government to decide regarding the respective citizens of that reside in some states. It is up to the local state government, for example, the governments of Alabama, Alaska, and so on, to decide whether or not it is legal for their inhabitants to embark on online gambling. So it is technically true, though fundamentally false, because some U.S. states like New Jersey and so on has adopted the codes that allow regulated gambling from within their territories, so they actually relate to people that gambling from within these territories, notwithstanding their citizens or just inhabitants, but they obviously live in there, and these local statutes, regulations would relate how exactly it can be done in a legal manner. So for example, in New Hampshire, as I was saying, this Delaware and elsewhere, some states that actually technically have allowed the gambling, so they would only put some serious restrictions on the process of licensing of these casino operators, and also, which is surprisingly, but also licensing of the affiliate sites. So it is technically legal to play in the states, but only legal to gamble where the casinos have obtained the local state license. So coming down to the first argument, no federal government restricts. It is fundamentally false because it is not up to a federal government to do this. It's up to a local state government, and the local state government have only a certain list of operators that have been given the license. It's a small, up to probably 10 biggest ones in the US, in the US states, and it's all. So it doesn't relate those crypto casinos. Obviously, this is just a manipulation. So the second question is how it reads. It reads, US only restricts casinos that accept bets inside the states. Not. So it means that we have to exempt the casino operators that have a server on some remote island from this, and it's kind of legal if you store the user's data and also make all the transactions on some remote island. It is false in nature because obviously every regulation in the US states concerns casino operators that make themselves available to the people that reside in a respective state and from the respective US territory. So it means that it is not really important where your physical server is located. The regulation concerns everybody who is making themselves accessible to the players who reside in the territory. So it's even a wrong question, because the regulation hasn't been put towards the owners of the software or hardware, but to people who are clients and who reside in a particular territory. So it's false in nature, and it's just wrong. So there's a wrong object of regulation. So it's not so. And finally, the US restricts banks and credit cards from making casino-related transactions. But luckily, they say luckily, Bitcoin payments are neither bank, no credit cards, obviously, and it's legal to use them for gambling. So yes, it is true that US regulation would restrict banks, financial companies, credit card companies, all the stuff, all the chain, from making casino-related transactions. And it's also true that Bitcoin is neither of them. So the status of Bitcoin has been not, regulated in the US. It is neither security nor currency right now as of 2023. So it's not clear to the regulator, actually the legislation, what it is exactly. But it is clear that it's not a bank or a credit card company and so on and so on. So seemingly, the statement is seemingly true, but the final element of the statement, which is this is why it is legal to accept it as a mean of gambling, this is fundamentally not true, because it doesn't matter what kind of payment was, exchange value you employ to be able to gamble, whereas all the stuff gambling has been regulated on the state level, on the level of states, they comprising the United States. And if a particular state doesn't allow gambling, it doesn't matter what kind of currency or payment method you use. It only matters that local regulation, legislation doesn't permit this kind of gambling. Most of the United States are restrictive, heavily restrictive on gambling. Some have been open to it, and some have made their legislation, but the procedure for obtaining license is quite strict. So only biggest one, obviously, have this state sanctioned licenses, and no matter what kind of currency do you use, obviously they simply don't have Bitcoin. So you just these websites and not any other website. So this is clear, but it brings us to the idea that all the 3 points that these crypto websites are making are fundamentally true, though they seemingly look like making sense. So if you like my ideas here, please submit your comments. Maybe you have other questions to ask about crypto gambling in the USA or elsewhere. You have my email here also. You can find it on this account. You can drop me an email also if you need my consultancy. Thanks for watching. Bye.